If you're turning 40, already in your 40s, or have survived this pivotal decade, this video is for you. I think I've heard it all by now about turning the big 40. Some call it the best years of their life, others warned about the dreaded midlife crisis. Then there are those who describe it as the dark night of the soul. But here's what I've learned: 40 is the year that brings everything to surface. For some of us, it's overwhelming, like being hit by a tsunami of emotions, questions, and changes all at once. For others, it feels like opening a fresh new chapter in a book. My experience, it's been plentiful, messy, beautiful, chaotic, and absolutely transformative. I want to share with you what I've learned so far about navigating this wild decade, the things that caught me completely off guard, and the deeper truths I wish someone had told me. Let me be completely honest with you though. Turning 40 was a roller coaster I didn't see coming at all. And I think being a woman comes with additional factors that nobody really likes to talk about. You might be experiencing things that make you question your sanity. One day you're fine, the next day you're crying over a commercial about puppies, and the day after that you're ready to pick a fight with anyone who looks at you the wrong way. Not only are we grieving the loss of who we used to be, but we're also physically feeling it. Aside from all the physical part, there's a profound sense of grief that comes with it, that comes with this transition. We lose a part of ourselves that we were once so comfortable with, the younger version who felt invincible, who thought she had it all, and who believed that all of her dreams are within reach. This grief is just so real, but it's also very necessary, because with every loss, we make room for something new. Maybe it's a side of ourselves we've forgotten, or perhaps it's a part of something that's ready to come to surface. For all the relationships I once found exciting, it just suddenly felt all so performative. We seem to all have gotten caught up in chasing validation, constantly curating our images, too afraid to show who we really are or express what we really want to do. It all started feeling very exhausting. I found myself pulling back, not out of judgment, but out of a deep need to make authentic connection, to stop being a part of the performance. I wanted to connect with people who were brave enough to admit that they didn't have it all figured out, who could laugh about their mistakes instead of pretending that they never made any. I began choosing solitude over social situations that just didn't serve me anymore. Being in the wrong conversation would make me feel more lonely than the times I went out solo traveling and venturing out on hikes all by myself. Choosing to be alone isn't depression. This is discernment. This was my authentic self finally having the courage to show up. If I could go back in time and prepare my younger self for this journey, here's what I would tell her. Doing the work and healing can make you become really good at identifying your patterns without actually changing them. You can quote every therapy technique, know your attachment style, understand your triggers, and still feel like you're watching your life through glass walls. You could spend time in therapy, read all the books, go to motivational workshops, analyze many people-pleasing tendency, trace perfectionism back to childhood, explain anxiety patterns and impressive psychological vocabulary, feel enlightened, evolved, heal. You'll soon to realize that something uncomfortable. For me, I had become a very sophisticated people pleaser. Instead of trying to be the perfect daughter that I used to always strive for, I was now trying to be the perfect spiritual seeker. It was like the same wound, but in a different costume. There's a difference between facing your shadow and integrating it. Most of us get stuck in what is called spiritual performance. We learn how to create the most perfect word salad by talking about our wounds beautifully, but we don't actually sit with them. We meditate to avoid feeling rather than to feel more deeply. We practice gratitude to bypass grief instead of honoring both joy and sadness. At 40, you start to see through all of this performance. You realize that true healing isn't about transcending your humanity, it's about embracing it fully. Your anger isn't wrong, it's information. Your sadness isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And your fear isn't failure, because it's honesty. I would say I went through what I now call the gray period. Everything looked perfect from the outside, but I felt numb inside. I could perform happiness, but I couldn't really feel it. I could perform presence, but I wasn't actually there. My spiritual practices felt more like obligations rather than just real connections. This was my soul calling BS on my spiritual performance. It was showing me the gap between who I was pretending to be and who I actually was. Your energy becomes sacred at 40, but not in the way you might think. It's not just about saying no to toxic people, it's about saying no to toxic versions of yourself. The version that performs consciousness, the version that tries to be impressive rather than real. You start asking different questions. What would change in my life if I stopped trying to be impressive and started trying to be real? This shift changes everything. For decades, we have been so conditioned to perform. First for our families, then for our peers, and eventually for our spiritual communities. At 40, you start to see that even your growth can become another form of people pleasing. True authenticity means admitting when you still feel insecure instead of performing confidence. It means asking for reassurance instead of pretending to be self-sufficient. It means letting people see your anxiety instead of hiding behind spiritual concepts. It's like letting go of something you cannot control. When I paint, write, or play music, I'm not trying to create something impressive. I'm having a conversation with my soul. Instead of analyzing your triggers, you start to have conversations with them. When anxiety arises, instead of breathing it away, I just ask myself, what am I really worried about? What do I need to learn out of this? This isn't therapy speak, it's a practical way of living. You stop trying to fix your patterns and stop trying to control it. And instead, you just befriend them. Here's what 40 teaches me. You don't become whole by eliminating your shadows. You become whole by integrating them. You learn to hold contradictions, to be both strong and vulnerable, wise and confused, healed and healing, spiritual and human. You can feel grateful yet frustrated at the same breath. You can love deeply and still feel afraid of abandonment. You can be confident and insecure at the same time. This isn't confusion, this is wholeness and acceptance. Creative expression becomes essential, but not as another achievement or way to optimize myself. It becomes a way to express with different parts of myself. One day you will realize that you've been collecting insights like trophies, accumulating awareness like achievements. You can talk about your inner child, but can't actually be playful. You can discuss trauma responses, but can't actually be vulnerable. At this part in your life, you choose depth over chatter. I'd rather have 3 friends who have seen me cry than 100 who thinks that I have it all figured out. If you're approaching this decade, know that you're about to enter a time of incredible potential. There will be challenges, losses, and moments when you feel like everything is falling apart. But remember, you're not falling apart, you're falling into place.